All right, everyone, we are back with a very special guest, return guest. So excited to have you here. Say hello to Ariana Madix.
Hi.
Oh, now she's going to jump off.
Oh my gosh, she's so
She was going to chill. Now she's going to leave. I'm really trying to handle the, like, just getting a dog and the guilt of, like, leaving my apartment and being like, okay, bye.
Yeah, it's hard at first. Well, I remember too, like, both Charlotte and Maya, when I first got both of them at those respective times, like, they had separation anxiety for sure in the beginning. So it's kind of like, you know, like, eventually, but it's hard.
I feel that from her majorly. Like, she sits outside the shower, like, when I'm in the bathroom. I'm like, oh, okay, we're gonna have to get used to this. But I know there's certain people I was like, you know what? I know Ariana's an animal person. She'll be okay if
Oh my God, yeah. It's almost better.
It does make it more fun.
Yeah, it's nice too, because, like, I've been up so, like, all day. I've been up since so early this morning. So, like, having, like, a little, like,
how long have you been in New York? She's gonna come here.
I got in town last Friday. I'm here for a week. So,
okay, nice.
yeah.
So time to adjust.
Yeah, it was Dan's birthday on Sunday, so we did some things to celebrate that, and then it's just been, like, you know, work during the week. But it's nice to do both.
And you're so close to Love Island time once again.
So close. It's kind of flying up. Like, I'm just a little nervous.
Isn't it kind of crazy? It feels like we were just there almost. I'm like, oh my God, now it's time for a whole
we were just there with those wooden shutters and the little that hotel room.
Yep. Back in that hotel room.
Yeah.
How crazy was last season for you? Because not only was it a massive success for the contestants, but for you too, it was so huge.
Yeah, and it was crazy too because they had no idea that it was
like really professional here. Unbelievable. She gonna stay like this? Okay.
She needs her own show.
Yep. Okay. Just, you know.
I'm obsessed with her.
Okay, back to you. Massive success for you last year.
It was a huge season, but it was crazy because, you know, we knew what we were seeing on social media and stuff, but we weren't here to interact with anyone who was actually able to watch it because you can't watch it over there. So we knew, but we almost didn't know in a way. But then the contestants, like, really didn't know.
Yeah.
Because you can't tell them that.
No. That was the craziest thing, too, was even just leaving, and in the airport, some of the contestants were leaving at the same time we were, and they were like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
I was like, guys, you have no idea. No idea. So it's so cool to see what they've been doing, and now they're all gonna do a show.
I love it. I mean, they're stars.
Yeah.
And I feel like truly last season was lightning in a bottle in so many ways. And, you know, I feel like this season should just not try to be anything like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
No one should try to recreate or live up to or anything like that, because I think what makes Love Island so great is that each season is so unique. And I definitely think it'll be like that from last season to this season. But they are all such stars. And I'm actually very excited to be able to watch kind of where they're at now.
Yeah.
And I follow them on social media, but it's different, right?
Yeah.
It's not the same as getting a glimpse into, you know, these relationships that they're in almost a year later. So I'm excited about watching that too.
What advice would you have for them kind of jumping into the reality? Like, it's such a different type of reality TV. Yeah. Probably more, you know, Vanderpump Rules-esque.
Yeah,
Guess,
exactly.
you know?
I think so too. I think it'll be similar to that vibe. I guess, you know, everyone fell in love with them because they were also authentically themselves. You know, like, each one of them is so unique and such a clear, like, personality. So if they can just hold on to that and keep doing that, I think that will be something that really resonates with viewers. But, you know, it is different. And in Love Island, in the villa, there's so many situations that kind of lead you to drama or, you know, like over the top moments. Yeah. And real life doesn't really have that. Right. So, like, don't try to create it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Right. It's such a different, like, they're not all living together. They're not all seeing each other 24/7.
There's no challenge where someone has to read mean tweets about you or like, you know, you don't have to like kiss, marry, pie anyone. Like you gotta just, you know, can go to a bar and have a conversation. So it is a little bit, it'll be different.
Yeah. Are you surprised at all that a lot of these couples are still together? Because like Love Island US hasn't had the best track record for success. True. But this season, they're thriving. I mean, I didn't find it too surprising just because watching them on the season, you could tell that these relationships were super genuine. But at the same time, sometimes you watch a show and you think the same thing, and then they break up right after, and you wonder like, well, what was I seeing? Right. But with them, it really felt like they were legit. So yeah, I think what you also said was so true, that like, and I think that speaks for the contestants that are now going to be on the next season, to not try and copy. Like, I'm going to be like the new Leah, or I'm going to be like, because it's not going to work. And that's when the internet tears people apart too. Yeah. And then people say, people can always see right through it, is the thing. Yeah. And, you know, of course, people comment and they're like, how are they going to live up to, or, how are they going to top? It's like, we're not going to top. It's like every season has its own lane. And I feel like that's how it's going to be successful. What are you looking forward to just yourself, like returning to Fiji life? I'm kind of looking forward to getting back into that. I don't know. There's a little bit of like a routine that I would have on my days off, getting back into hanging out with like my team, my host team, because they're the best. And I don't know. It's a little bit freeing in a way where I am so far removed from everything that's going on in LA or whatever. So it's a little bit, it can be a little bit stressful, but it can also be super like, well, right. It's, what time zone is it? Exactly. I can't even deal with that right now. I was going to say, especially with the time change, it's like you're living, might as well be a different universe. You're like, oh, that's happened hours ago. Like it's over now. I missed it. It's like you completely sleep through things. You're like, oh, it's the next day. Yeah. Missed that completely. Yeah. Sometimes that can be nice. Yeah. You know? Was it tough kind of keeping up with your like personal relationships though when you're over there? Well, it's tough because like with my friends, I would miss my friends, and they would all be, you know, in the group text or hanging out and talking about going out to dinner and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I miss you guys. Right. Like, is it like, do you want to still be in the group chat? Yeah. But you don't want to see what everybody's doing. Yeah, I get FOMO a little bit like that. And then I come back in July and I'm like, you guys still like me? Like, are we cool? Are we friends still? We were joking about it with, a different situation. We were joking about it with Rhea, because she's on her honeymoon right now. Yeah. And we have our team Chicks in the Office chat. And we were like, she was like, don't take me out of it because there's work stuff that we need to talk about. I was like, Rhea, I'm not texting you about the day-to-day stuff that you don't need to see. You're on your honeymoon. This is when you should not be looking at any of it. Yeah, and even if you think you're not going to look at it, that notification will get you totally in the phone. 100%. Yeah. Exactly. To be like, oh, shoot, okay, now you're you're having a beautiful dinner with your husband and you're like, seeing the Team Cedo chat. I'm like, you don't need to do that. Yeah. It's not important. But how's life been for you recently? It's you I feel like the last time I saw you, it was so busy because you're doing Love Island. It was like straight into Broadway and so many, all these amazing things. Have you gotten any chill rest time? No. Yeah. Now it's almost just as busy. It's just not necessarily like front facing busy. It's whether it's the sandwich shop or meetings, like great meetings, amazing meetings. I certainly don't want to act like I don't love the meetings, but it's a lot of that sort of behind the scenes stuff. So yeah, still just really busy. The holidays were nice. Yeah, right. A little break on the holidays. Exactly. Yeah. How was the Broadway experience for you? Oh, incredible. Amazing. Yeah. I just last night was able to hang out with one of my castmates, Chris and Faith we learned the show together. Amazing. And she's Hanyak, so she's still there. So I saw her after the show and it was so nice to see her and catch up. And I love everybody that I was able to do the show with. Yeah. And
Yeah, I would go back in a heartbeat.
I was going to say, like, did it give you the bug to want to do more other shows?
Yeah. But that's also been like out the womb. I wanted to. So once I was able to do it, I was like, no, I want to keep doing it. Exactly. It's so fun.
Exactly. It really, and it's such a fun difference between New York and LA life. What do you prefer now that you've kind of gotten those months in New York doing Broadway?
Yeah, well, I lived in New York for like 5 years before.
Yep.
And, I was very, very, I've always been a hustler, someone with like many jobs to do it all, right? And so like when I moved from New York to LA the first time, like I was super, super broke. And being here and for those few months last year, it's a different experience when you're living here and you're lucky enough to do what you love and what you've always dreamed of doing. It's obviously like a very different feeling than, promoting cigarettes, bartending, go-go dancing, like the many hats, all of those things. But I feel like they're so different. Like I really love New York, but LA, we have space.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, what is on White Lotus when she's like, I don't think at this age I'm meant to live an uncomfortable life.
Yeah.
Like LA, there is a lot of more of that kind of comfortability.
Right.
Yeah.
Is you have more, you're not shoving everything into an apartment and all those stuff.
And even when I have like a busy day where I have to go do a lot of different things, I can just throw all my shit in the car and just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not with the big bag.
Yeah. I miss that feeling of like just being able to drive wherever. So at first, like being in New York, it's like, oh, I don't really care that much. Can get wherever I want. And now I'm like, I would love to just pack my car for a day and have it and know where it is and know where all my stuff is.
Yeah, and then when I get home, if I don't feel like unpacking the car, I just leave it there until the next day.
Oh my God, what a feeling.
Yeah, it is kind of nice.
That is so, not schlepping it all on the subway or whatever you have to do to get from the different places. How is the sandwich shop doing?
It's great. Yeah.
It's so cute.
Oh,
Brie and I have stopped.
Yeah.
We were on a walk the last time we were in LA and we're like, oh my God, we're so close to something better.
Yeah, we love it. We've been working on I'm not sure when this is coming out, but Mother's Day, we're doing like a really cute Mother's Day brunch.
Amazing, people. This will be Friday, so it'll be pre-Mother's Day.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, come for Mother's Day. All the information's on the Instagram and stuff.
Amazing.
Very excited about that. And we've been looking forward to just kind of over the summer, we have like a couple ideas of some fun things because we have our set menu that we absolutely love, but we also love coming up with new fun ideas and ways to incorporate holidays or the seasons. And so, yeah.
What's it been like kind of working on the show? I feel like because so much was shown on the show and now it's like really obviously not on TV as much now. So it's like you see that dynamic of you and Katie and everybody working on it. And now that it's not, is like, has that dynamic changed at all or have you and Katie just been great doing it?
Yeah, I think we've been truly lucky that we really love working together and we seem to be super aligned on vision and executing it. And when we're talking about stuff, it feels like we're almost always on the same page.
Yeah.
And of course, like owning a restaurant is hard.
Yeah.
Like people aren't kidding when they say that. And we knew it would be difficult going into it. But when you have that person that's your partner, that you have the same vision, it does make things a lot easier.
Yeah.
And then you can focus on all of those issues that arise that are hard and not have that be something that you're struggling with. So yeah, it's really cool.
Right. It's like you don't have to worry about
like that part.
All the outside noise. It's like, okay, now we are, business partners that can do all that.
Yeah.
Have you been watching any of, the Valley or any of these craziness?
But of course, like it comes up on my TikTok.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, I can't.
I was going to say, does it feel kind of good to be
it's really stressful. Like it's really stressful to see stuff. And it's hard too because especially from what I've seen this season and like talking to my friends that are on it, it's very dark.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy. I know. It's like you watch and you're like, I can't believe this is, second season. It's already hit that level. I think, did I see that you were at Kristen's
her baby shower? Yeah.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was so nice.
Yeah.
Brittany had all these amazing flowers and everything. Cute cookies and cupcakes or macaroons. Yeah, it was super cute. And Kristen is like the most beautiful pregnant person ever. So
it's really nice
crazy.
Because of watching her on the show and see what she's been through to get to this point now.
Yeah, and I know
so
that
nice.
her and Luke's journey getting with their fertility and stuff is something that's, and it's really beautiful. And yeah, I love it for them.
Yeah, definitely. Really, it's so nice.
Yeah.
You also just had, I think, did you say 10 years going to go? 10, is the same squad going to Coachella?
10 Coachellas, yeah.
With the same group, is that what?
There's
or you've
some.
just been to 10 years of Coachella?
I mean, total, I've been 10 years.
Yeah.
Not always. Like, my first 2 years was, like, my friend Rebecca and her crew and my friend Kyle, and, like, they had gone for many years before that. Yeah. So they I kind of, like, came into them. And then it was like, okay, I think I have, like, a lay of the land. And then, like, slowly but surely kind of, but there's a lot of repeat, crew and stuff. And, of course, like, when I convinced Logan to move to LA, of course I'm like convinced him to come to Coachella too. So I love it. It's not my only music festival, but it's the one that I've been to the most. Yeah.
What was your favorite part about this past one?
Oh man. Zinyara, obsessed. It was like an after party. And the LA Phil.
Okay.
Also, we got to meet Yo Gabba Gabba in the wild.
Wow.
Which was super fun.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know this is like silly, but and their performance was incredible. I was like blown away by it.
When I saw that, I was like, am I on drugs? Like, what? I did not know that this was a thing.
Yeah, and I'm not familiar with them. I'm older than
I know about the TV show, but even then it was like
I'm not familiar with their songs, but watching their performance, I was like, oh man, these songs are bops. Yeah. So yeah, it was great.
That's amazing. I know. I went once and loved it and have not been back. But when I saw Zed do Clarity with the LA Phil.
Yeah.
And it just like, as I'm scrolling on TikTok, the video comes up. I was like, I have full body chills. I was like, this is the most incredible thing I've ever seen.
I've started like a one woman campaign to get them to put that version on Apple Music or Spotify because I need it.
I will join you. It'll be a 2-woman campaign.
Okay, great.
I would also really like to listen to it. I said I was like replaying just the TikTok.
Yeah.
So that I
just
could
to get that.
Hear that part happen again. It really is just so nice. And so I mean, what else do you have to do to prep for Fiji?
Well, I really need to get my outfits together. We don't have anything set in stone yet. Of course, like,
do you feel a little pressure because of how amazing last season was?
Yeah, like a lot actually, because I'm like, well, and it also, so much of it depends on what's out there,
right?
I'm not at this like the level where, say, the people who go to, say, a Met Gala,
right.
Where like Gucci is not making me some incredible gown, like it's not happening.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of yet. That would be sick, but. So
Let's
it's a lot of
on the Vine. He'll do full Louis for you.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Please. Hello. But it's a lot of just, Emily works so hard to source so many things, and we are working on trying to get some custom things as well. But it is dependent sometimes on what is already exists. Right. Sometimes people will comment and they'll be like, "Well, why didn't you wear something that looks like this?" And I'm like, do you send me a link?
Yeah.
like, where is that?
Right.
This
that
sounds
really
like
nice.
a great idea.
Can I buy that? Because I would like to, and then I'll wear that.
Yeah.
No, that's so true. While you're away for that long, does your boyfriend get to come to Fiji at all? That's a far trip, right?
From New York, yeah. From LA, it's not so far.
Yeah.
But for him from New York, it's definitely a trek. Yeah. Last year, he came and stayed for a week. I was there. I think I had 2 weeks before we started actually filming. So he came for that first week. This year I'm trying to get him to come and stay for 2 weeks. Just because like, it's so nice to have
how could you not
him there. Yeah. And it's 2 years in a row now that my birthday will also be while I'm there.
Okay.
So I'm like,
perfect
hey,
timing.
Everybody come on out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Perfect timing. Was there anything from like Fiji life that you picked up for your everyday life? Because I feel like the people there are just amazing. Granted, we were there for 4 or 5 days and we came back being like, oh my God, they're amazing.
Yeah. I feel like, you know, I had this pair, this is going to sound really ridiculous, but I had this pair of Crocs that were given to me out there and I decorated them all like Love Island themed. And I know this is maybe, but it connects in a way. So it's like, I always, you know, living in LA, I feel like there's sometimes pressure to, you know, like look cool when you go out and stuff. And in Fiji, it's like, no one gives a shit. You know, it's hot. It's more just like being comfortable in the heat and just living your life and kind of, you know, having that like, it's more a relaxed feel.
Yeah, definitely.
And so I definitely feel like that ability or that feeling of relaxation is something that I've taken with me since then. Yeah,
definitely. That was very true. I felt like that was a good way, because when you go back to LA, New York, whatever, it's just so fast paced. Everybody just wants to get from A to B, and it's just like it's a lot. It's nice to relax. Now that you have the full season under your belt hosting, what was like the biggest misconception, maybe not the right word, but like doing a full season as a host? Like what is something you learned that you didn't think was maybe part of the job?
Well, I think sometimes there's like a misconception that like people will comment and they'll be like, why didn't you say da 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 da, or why didn't you tell, you know, of course last season too, it was probably something about Rob.
Right.
And they would be like, why didn't you tell Rob to like fuck off? Or, you know, and I'm like, I cannot, you know, like, you know, there's a lot of things where they want to know, why am I not coming in there and, you know, bringing my thoughts and feelings? And I'm like, that's what After Sun is for me. And because, you know, that affects the integrity of the show. I'm the host of the show. So, you know, I think that is a little bit of a misconception that I can just come on in and interact however I'd like to. I have to be a little bit more of like, this is my villa, and I'm like holding court a little bit in a way. That being said, so many times I like want to be like, are you okay? You know, or like, you're doing great. And I'm like, I can't.
That is so true. I know. Because you're such a fan of the show and have been, where it's like, let's come over here and let's talk about what's happening.
Yeah. And I also sometimes like, I like love them and I can see how much they're putting themselves out there.
Yeah.
And it can be so hard, especially coming in as like a bombshell or someone from Casa or whatever. And I want to be like, trust me, like you're fine, like you're okay. But it's like, I can't, I don't know. I always want to like pep talk everybody.
Right. When do you kind of get to familiarize yourself with the contestants, or do you know anything about who gets to?
Well, yeah. So last year I asked if they could send the bios and their little like tapes, you know, how they would show. Yeah. Because I wanted to know. Right. And then sometimes
I'm Megan and I should be on Love Island because.
Yeah. And I want to read like where all this stuff about, and then I try to guess like, who do I think they would like? Right. And then a lot of times it's like completely wrong. Yeah. Like I'm so wrong.
I mean, that's such fun inside
like from
info though
on paper. Yeah. And you're like, okay, wow, no, that was not the case.
Right. I feel like that's kind of the dream as a fan of the show too, is like to see who everyone kind of is first, and then you also get to see like from their tapes and stuff. Oh, maybe when the camera's on, they've changed a little bit, or they're acting a little different.
You think like, oh, he's gonna go in there and she's gonna love him, and then he walks in and she's like like, oh
yeah, I read that very wrong. Very wrong.
Yeah.
Have you had like any favorite moments from hosting?
Yeah, I mean, getting to witness the brilliance of Serena at that Casa Amor recoupling, that was my favorite. I was so proud of her. And you know, they don't there's not really a lot of cutting to me in that moment. Of course, there shouldn't be. But if you could have seen me, I was standing there just like,
yeah, yep, yeah,
like I was like, hell yeah, like that.
Give it to him.
Yeah, I just thought her ability to express her sadness, her anger, her joy, like everything is just so beautiful. And just like as a viewer watching the girls' friendships last season and how supportive they were of each other, I just thought that was so great.
Yeah. And it's going to be so much fun now to, get to watch that friendship change and see them in real life and all the other people. I thought it was so interesting too that like some of the Casa people are sort of involved.
Oh, are they?
And I just feel like in a way that some of the names, they didn't say it fully, but it was like, go to different people may pop in here or there.
Oh.
Which is, I feel, very interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, just to, because they different friendships and different, even just like Connor. I was like, oh, good for you, Connor.
I was surprised to see it as well.
So you know what? Good for you, Connor.
Yeah.
You get to be on this show. That's going to be, but they do need some of the single people because it's the same element with any reality TV. Like you got the couples, but then you want to see.
Yeah, you need a little bit of
someone
both.
going on some dates or whatever they have to do.
Exactly.
Right? So, okay, we'll wrap up our last question, our Armani beauty question. You were talking about your outfits, and I know that is also very important, but the looks, the hair, the makeup, everything you did last summer was so spectacular. What do you do now planning? Like, I know outfits you plan, but Pinterest board, like what do you do to think, you know what, let's try this look? Because you're so close with your hair and makeup people.
Yeah. I have an ongoing folder that I add looks to that I see on Instagram or TikTok. They do as well.
Yep.
And then I've been in touch with Carl about what is my current hair color so he can make sure he brings all kinds of hair to Fiji to be able to play with and do stuff. And then recently I saw he was doing some wigs on Mora and I was like, bring the wigs, babe.
Bring the wigs.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. What, did you have a favorite hair and makeup look from last season? I feel like there were so many.
I really liked, I think it was the second one that was a little bit like the little bob that was flipped out, half up, half down. I just really liked it because it felt very kind of cute, almost cutesy, but then sexy dress. I love that kind of stuff. It's very like mod.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, we can't wait to see all the looks you're going to serve next season. Going to be able to tune in June 3rd. Peacock, ready to go.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I feel the void. Like I miss it. I feel like we haven't had it in a while and everyone's going to be so excited.
Yeah, that promo that we shot when they start playing the theme song, I was like, oh.
I know,
what
right?
a relief. I missed that.
It settles you.
Yeah.
It does. You hear the music again and it settles you. By the way, I loved seeing you in the NBC basketball promo. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
And people at the NBC now is going to be doing NBA games and they did a full just like NBC personalities all helping promote, and seeing that was so fun.
Yeah, when they asked me if I was like, hell yeah, I'll do that. Like, that's the song I grew up hearing, watching basketball with my parents. So,
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Cool.
So much fun. Ariana, thank you so much.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Can't wait to start watching, and hopefully we see you in Fiji.
Yeah, come on out.
Thank you so much.